All right, here we have another problem. Let's see what we've got here. The first thing that I would like you to recognize is that there are not just bases and exponents, but there's also coefficients. So what I like to do is always take care of the coefficients first. Coefficients are numbers that don't have any exponents to them. They're just being multiplied against everything else, but they themselves do not have any exponents other than what could be implied to be as 1. So this is really just -6 by itself. It's a free agent. It's not under the power of any other exponent, or 18 is not under the influence or power of any other exponent. These are just free agents, -6 over 18. So that's just like saying -6 over 18. It's just like if I gave you this problem, which you've had in many years past, of just reducing what that is. So what would this be reduced to? I see that 6 is a common factor. 6 goes into -6 one time. In this case, it's a -1. And then 6 goes into 18 3 times. So this all reduces down to -1/3. All right? Therefore, what I can do is I can erase the -6 and erase the 18. And I can just put a -1 over 3 here. Okay? In fact, this -1 I don't even really need. It's just implied. So I can just take that -1 and just make it a negative. Because that 1 can always be invisible. It's implied if it's just a 1. 1 times anything as itself. All right. So we've taken care of our coefficients. Now we have some work to do with our exponents. Do we see any common or like bases going on here? Well, I see a like base here, A's, and I see a like base here, B's. By the way, if I don't have anything as a explicit exponent, what is it implied to be? It's always implied to be 1. So if something doesn't have an exponent, you always know that you can put a little 1 there, and that's exactly what it could be. All right, so we've got common bases or like bases. What do we do to the A's here? Well, this is kind of like a to the -2 minus a -5, right? Well, we know that when we're subtracting a negative, that's like adding a positive. So -2 plus a +5 is a +3, okay? So that's a +3. So I'm going to circle this. We took care of this, all right? All right, and why don't I put this in so we don't forget about these guys? All right, so I'll put a negative on the top here. And in our denominator, I'm going to put the 3. So I took care of these guys too. Don't want to lose anyone while we're transferring, all right? Okay, these are common bases. These are like bases, the B's. So this would be B squared minus whatever's in the bottom here, minus 1. Well, 2 minus 1 is 1, so B to the first. Again, if you have B to the first, it's really just saying B. So this is our finalized answer. Now you might be saying, wait a second, I thought there couldn't be any negatives in our final answer. There couldn't be any negative exponents. There are no negative exponents here. There is a negative, there's a -1 as a coefficient here. All right, but -1 coefficient, that's not an exponent. Negative numbers are fine. I could even put this negative down here if I wanted to. Negative numbers are fine. It's negative exponents that we cannot have in a simplified answer, all right? So negatives on the outside are totally fine. When they're negative coefficients, negative bases, those are totally fine. It's just the negative exponents that we don't want in our simplified answer. And this is a +3 up here, a cubed. That's totally fine. So this is a great answer that we have right here.